Alice had always been a talented artist, but she never quite achieved the recognition she craved. That was until she met Matthew, a charming and successful art dealer who promised to make her dreams come true. Under Matthew's guidance, Alice's paintings started selling for thousands of dollars. She was in awe of his ability to navigate the cutthroat world of art and make her a success. But there was something about him that made her uneasy. As Alice spent more time with Matthew, she began to notice small inconsistencies in his stories. He would tell her about a deal he had made, only for her to find out later that it never happened. He would claim to have connections with famous collectors, but she never saw any evidence of it. Despite her reservations, Alice continued to work with Matthew. She felt like she owed him her success and didn't want to jeopardize it. But things started to take a dark turn when Matthew began to make demands. He would ask Alice to create pieces that were outside of her comfort zone, pushing her to explore darker and more twisted themes. He would tell her that her work wasn't good enough, that it needed to be more provocative, more shocking. And Alice, desperate to maintain her success, would comply. But as she delved deeper into these dark themes, she started to feel like she was losing herself. She would have nightmares about the grotesque figures she was painting, waking up in a cold sweat. She would feel like something was watching her every move, like she was being controlled. One day, Alice stumbled upon Matthew's hidden studio. She had always assumed that he worked out of his gallery, but here was a separate space filled with strange artifacts and eerie paintings. And then she found it, a notebook filled with notes on her, detailing her every fear and insecurity. It was like he had been studying her, manipulating her. Alice felt sick to her stomach as she realized the extent of Matthew's control over her. She had become nothing more than a puppet to him, a tool for him to manipulate the art world to his liking. But now that she knew the truth, she was determined to break free. She confronted Matthew, demanding to know what he had done to her. He simply smiled, telling her that this was all part of the art of manipulation. He had seen something in her, a vulnerability that he could exploit to make her a success. And he had succeeded, but Alice wasn't going to let him win. She took back control of her art, creating pieces that were true to her vision, not his. She walked away from his toxic influence and started to make a name for herself on her own terms. Years later, Alice would look back on that time as a turning point in her career. She had learned the true value of her talent, and she would never let anyone else control it again.